Hi, so this is our tutorial on strings in Python. We are in this datascientistsworkbench.com. It's through IBM, through Big Data University, but we're really just here to use their implementation of Jupyter Notebooks online. It's a free account, and it lets us use Jupyter Notebooks on the cloud. So here we go. So we're going to click on, we're in the splash page when you first log in. We're going to click on Jupyter Notebook, and we're going to go ahead and import the Jupyter Notebook that's on GitHub. So this is the URL. This URL will be down in the comments, so don't worry about it. We just put in the search box right there. After clicking on Jupyter Notebooks, we click Enter, and it's going to go find it and import it into our account here, which is very convenient. We're going to choose Python 3, click OK. Okay, now, every programmer spends a lot of time manipulating strings. It's kind of what we do. So, so one of the many things we do. So it's important to have a good understanding about it. So, but strings are bits of text. Okay, they're essentially a string of characters, right? One character after another, enclosed in quotes. It could be any character. Okay, and we treat them as kind of one smushed together string of characters, right? So, okay, so there we go. So let's go ahead and Shift Enter to execute the cell. Notice that we have a string and a string 2, okay. One is with double quotes, one's with single quotes, it doesn't matter, okay. And we can do a string right here. Okay, single quotes are, okay. And then we print the length of the string. So notice the length of the string is the count of the letters, right? So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oops, there's only 11 letters, but guess what? The space is included. So the length of a string includes the spaces, okay? All right, let's do it again. So let's do now this time, it prints out 12, right? So it prints out 12 because that's the number of characters, right, including the space. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a string is hello world again, okay? And next, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this dot notation, right? So now a string is really a string object, okay? So it's not, so interestingly enough, it's not just a primitive, right, type, it's an actual object. And as an object, it has associated methods with it, right? So if we do a string, right, which we've defined as a string, okay, we periods, that's our dot notation. So now we're saying, hey, we want to call this method associated with a string. We can actually in Jupyter Notebooks, we can hit tab after that. So I just hit tab, and you'll see that there are a lot, tab and then the down arrow to kind of go through. You'll notice that there are a lot of built-in functions associated with strings, okay? So there's all kinds of things we can do. We're going to go through a couple of these, and the first one we're doing here is index of the letter O, okay? So, or sorry, the character O. So we say index and then the character O, okay? And we're going to hit Shift Enter. Okay, and notice it says 4. This prints out 4 because the location of the first occurrence of the letter O is 4 characters away from the first character. Okay, so notice we have 0. It's a 0-based index, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. 4 is the first O. But why didn't it print out 5? Isn't O the 5th character in the string? To make things more simple, Python and most other programming languages start with things at 0 instead of 1. So the index of 0 of the O character, is 4. Okay, next thing we're going to do is count. So we can actually count the occurrences of a character. So in this case, we have hello world again. We do a string, we get the dot notation. So remember, we're calling the count method on whatever's inside of the variable a string, right? So it's a string, the variable is a string object, right? So we're calling the count method on it. In this case, we're feeding in the count method. We feed it the letter L, say, hey, how many L's are in hello in our A string, which is holding hello world. Shift Enter, and guess what? There are 3, okay? So in fact, 1, 2, 3, looks good to me. Next thing we're going to do here, oops, I already ran this earlier, I think. So the next thing we're going to do here, let's go ahead. We can actually go up to the kernel, and this is good to know. We go up to the kernel, we can actually do restart and clear input, or clear output. And that just clears everything out. It'll restart here, and then everything, all this output will be gone. Whoops. Okay, so we restarted the kernel there, so we can go, hey, hello world, and we got our 3, right? Next we do, so we can also slice, okay? So to slice means that we start at one index and go to the other index, okay? So this prints a slice, so let's go ahead and do that. So it's this A string, okay? Then we do this kind of just like we did on a list, right? It's very similar, right? So we do from 3 to 7, okay? Now, there's a lot to consider though here. So let's go Shift Enter. Okay, so we got this chunk right here, right? LO space W. So what is that? 0, 1, 2, 3. So it started on the index 3, 4, 5, and 6. So really it stopped just before the 7th index. So it was not inclusive of that index, right? So really when we say, hey, get me the slice of character in position 3 to character in position 7, really we're saying, hey, it's really 7 minus 1, right? So it's really 3 to 6, not actually 3 to 7, okay? So it has to be something, it has to be inclusive or not. In this case, not inclusive, all right? So now let's go ahead and take another look, okay? So we can even put negative characters inside the brackets. There are easy ways of starting at the end of a string instead of the beginning. This way, -3 means the third character from the end. Okay, that's super useful in Python. Okay, so if you don't know how long a string is, it's really very, very useful to say, hey, go from the end, not the beginning, right? So if we did that up here, let's say we did -2, right? Okay, then we'd say, hey, we want to stop just before the second character from the end, right? Okay. All right, notice 0, 1, 2 doesn't seem inclusive. But anyway, so that means that the second character from end, so we're not, you kind of have to experiment with this a little bit to get all the nuances down. Okay, so A string equals hello world. Now we're going to print string 372. Let's see what that does. Okay. Okay, so this prints the character. This prints a character 3 to 7, skipping one character. Okay. This is extended slice syntax. The general form is start, stop, and step. Okay, so it's going to print every other character from 3 to 7, right? Okay, next let's do. So the next thing we're going to do, in this case, let's try it again. So in this case, we do step. The step is 1, right? So that's the default step. If we did step of 2. Okay, that would be a little bit different, right? Okay. Note that both of them produce the same output, okay? And that's because when we did this one, we did the default value of 1, all right? So there's no function like the string rev in C to reverse a string, but with the above mentioned type of slice syntax, you can easily reverse a string like this, hello world. And so we basically go from beginning to end, and step would be -1. So let's go ahead and try that. So there are all these different things you can do with these kind of creatively applying these built-in functions. Okay, the next one we're going to do is upper and lower. So in this case, we convert it all to upper with upper, and then we convert it all to lower, you can see here. Next, we're going to go we actually are testing, right? So we say, hey, does the string, so we say hello world in a string, and then we're testing it. We're saying, hey, does hello world start with hello? And then we ask, hey, does it end with this random string of characters? And the first one is true, the second is false, right? So you can test if something is contained within a string. Okay, and then finally, this is, so, oops, got some of my comments wrong here. So finally, we have a string is hello world, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to split it. Okay, so split, so you'll notice that each one of these methods produces something different, right? So for example, the ones we started with up here, like to upper, right? Or sorry, not to upper, just upper and lower, both produce a string, right? All the slicing we did produces a string, right? It produces another string. The len method produces an integer, right? The count method produces an integer. Well, the split method produces a list. So essentially what we get here, if we were to say print a few words, and we added that in there, notice that here we split the string on the space, right? So we get 2 values. The 0 value in our list, in our resulting list, is hello. The 1 value is world. Okay, Last thing here, so we're going to try to fix the code to print out the correct information by changing the string, okay? So S, hey there, what should this string be, okay? So the length should be 20, okay? The first occurrence of A should be at index 8. The number of A's should be 2, okay? So we're gonna try to fix this character. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause or fix this code. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video, and you are gonna work on this. Let's go ahead and pause. Okay, so now we have, hey there, what should this string be? So the length should be 20, so let's see what that is. So the length is 38 right now, okay? So let's go ahead and let's do 0, 1, 2, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, whoops, it's easier for me to arrow. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let me go ahead and run that again. 27 still, huh? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the length of the string is 20. All right, so first occurrence A should be at index 8. How about this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to go A for 8. Whoops, 7. It's 0 though, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 8. Remember, we have to take out a letter. Oh, there are 8. Okay. Number of A's should be 2. Okay, should be 2. Okay, convert everything to upper, convert it to lower. Okay, split the word into strings. Okay. Start with str. Okay. I'm pretty sure I did this wrong, but you know what? We're going to get it to test correctly at least. So string ends with OME. Well, I got to save my A, right? So we're going to turn this into A, and we're going to turn this into OME. Okay. Run it again. Oh, and we needed our okay. That actually passes all the tests. So I'm sure I did this wrong. So let's go ahead and do Control Z. See what I did wrong here. So I changed the string quite a bit. Okay. So we did 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Let's see what that says. Okay, so first occurrence letter should be 2. Okay, and occurs how many times? Oh, and the number of should be 2. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Start with str. And it should end with OME exclamation point. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, so yours should look a little bit like that. I did it 2 different ways there. As long as we see these things are correct, the 28-2, okay, and then we see the good, okay, then we should be okay. And those are your tests there. All right, so if you're working this for assignment, go ahead and do the print preview, file print preview, and then of course save it as a PDF with all of your output and turn that in. If not, good luck on strings and do a little bit more experimentation. Best of luck.